interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
The Bo-Rock Breakdown.
Now, back to our show.
Good evening and welcome to the Bo-Rock Breakdown. Alongside me, Tommy Guns, laying down a wicked one.
Yeah.
Woo, that baby stinks.
That's that steak, baby.
Stink bomb.
The meat farts.
I'm the Bo-Rock, no farts, and we're here celebrating a victory.
Yeah. Ish.
Two in a row.
You know, it's a hard spot to be in because, like, I want to celebrate, and I am happy, and I did celebrate, and I was at the game this week, and it was fucking awesome, and, you know, being at the game is never not awesome. But, you know, what comes to this? Like, are we really just blowing a pick, do you think?
I look at it this way, and I think I've mentioned it previously. It's really a win-win situation because let me explain. Let me explain. You know, we get meaningful December football. Okay, where we feel like we have something, we could win a division.
That's
with
almost the best Christmas present you could ask
record. Or if we fight to the end and lose, and we don't make the playoffs. Damn, and then we still end up with probably a top 10 pick. You know, according to where our schedule may, or our record may lie. You know, so I mean, I look at it that way. You get meaningful football. You know, you're excited to watch them, especially after the last 2 weeks.
Right.
You know, and
well,
I mean, and even they could just drop the ball Sunday, lose, but all they have to do is win the last two, and they're in. They basically control their own fate. All they gotta do is beat Washington at home and go up the turnpike and beat the crap out of the Giants.
Again.
You know?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like, even if we win out, right? Like, I would love if we won out and then, you know, probably not go that far in the playoffs. I mean, you never know. You could go all the way with a shitty record like some other fucking shitball East Coast team whose names I won't mention. But do you think that this just perpetuates the problems that we have and maybe, you know, is like kind of like slowing down the bleeding and not stopping it? Like, I feel like if we would have lost, we might be more apt to address some shit and heads would roll, so to speak, at the end of it.
I'll be pretty blunt. Do you really think that the problems will get fixed if we don't win the division, or if we just lost out?
No,
because Chip's not going anywhere. Like,
I don't think Chip's the problem.
Well, I
think he's a part of it, but I don't think he's the whole problem.
Well, yeah, okay. I agree with you, and I'm sure to some extent. But I mean, there's a lot of problems with this team, and I think what once was their glowing strength in their offense is now their biggest weakness. And I think their defense is on the up and up. I mean, I really think they have I think their defense, I'm not saying that their defense is great now,
80 points
but
of a fucking wake-up call.
I think they, with fixing some scheme issues and getting a good back end, I think they really have a good defense.
Yeah, they're
not there yet, obviously, but I think they have
a good base.
They have the potential. Yeah, they have a good foundation to build a defense.
I guess what I'm saying is, and I'm not talking about Bradford like everybody's probably assuming. I actually feel that he played quite well the last 2 weeks, especially being at the game. And
hold on, we got that on record.
Hey, it ain't the first compliment I've given him.
Hey,
it ain't the first one, but in a Bradford situation where we were with him, and you know where I still kind of feel that he's not going to be the answer. He's just here right now. Then let's be honest. Do you think that now that he's starting to look good or coming together or whatever, like, because I think he's just going to be mediocre at best. But do you think that leaves us not looking for a Kaepernick situation next year?
I really think when it comes down to it, it's Chip has been very vocal this week in regards to Bradford.
Yeah.
He has said that he envisions Bradford being here beyond this season. He went out and traded for him, and the reason why they traded for him because they envisioned him being here long term. They didn't trade away a quarterback in picks for a 1-year rental. So the initial move in getting Bradford here was to make it long term. And Chip, like I said, has been very vocal in that this week in saying that he's improved greatly over the course of the season. And, and he had made points, and they're pretty valid points. You got Cam Newton in a system that's been in a system for, it's his 5th season. I think he's been under his offense coordinator for like 3 years. Andy Dalton, same situation, under an offense coordinator for a couple of years. And Russell Wilson, under his coordinator throughout his whole tenure as a Seahawk. And Russell Wilson has blossomed already. But, Cam hasn't really come into his own until really, he's played well. He's always been known as that running quarterback, and he gets touchdowns with his legs, but he's never been really known to have an arm, and an accurate arm, and running an offense.
The Brett Favre arm.
He has shown that he has grown this year and really fell into this offense and really grabbed the offense and ran with it. So my point is, and same thing with Dalton. I'm not a big Dalton fan, but he's played well. Well, not anymore because he's hurt. But
he was getting dropped this week anyway.
Yeah, but his point, my point there with this is that Bradford's been in his system for months, and that's what Chip has said. He's been in the system for months. He's not going to perfect the system after 11 games of games that he started. It takes time to.
I couldn't agree more. But
perfect the
how
system.
much time are we going to be investing in this? Do you think that we're looking to franchise him?
Okay, one, I wouldn't franchise him because if you franchise him, it'll cost you $25 million. Not the smartest thing to do.
Agreed.
It all lies on Bradford. It all depends on if Bradford wants to be here or not. Remember, Bradford didn't pick Philly. Chip picked Philly for Bradford. So who knows what Bradford wants to do? Maybe Bradford sees a team out there that needs a quarterback and he's like, oh, I'll fit great in their system. Maybe he's eyeing them up in the offseason. I'm going to try and go there. Or maybe he grabs hold of his team. He's becoming quite the leader of this football team. Maybe he takes his team to the playoffs, they win a game in the playoffs, and he feels like he's here to stay. Which brings the question, what's he worth?
Yeah.
What do you pay him?
Not that much.
So would you give him like an Andy Dalton deal, which was, I think, 4 years at 96, so it averaged out to about $16 million a year. I think he got...
Whatever deal you structure with him, you're going to have to put an injury clause in there.
Oh, of course.
And a performance clause. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't think he's worth a lot of money. I don't think he's worth a lot of money guaranteed.
I think
if you put clauses in there that give him reason to do well and reason to produce, then I'd be okay with, like, a 2-year deal, 3-year deal. I don't want to lock him up that long. I'd even be nervous to do
He's 28.
a 3-year deal. I hear you, but, when I look at something like that, I don't really look at age because age anymore is not mattering so much. You know what I mean?
This has been the best year of his career.
Right? That's not saying much.
Well, I'm just saying more so over his last 6 over his
8 years in,
over the last 6 games he started. Now I'm playing Mr. Dick now, but over the last 6 games he's 5-1. Okay, he's won 6 of his last 9 the games he started for the Eagles. He's performed well. I think he's thrown 1 interception in the last 4 or 5 games. I forget. I got it written down somewhere. 1 pick in his last 4. He's got a 96.9 quarterback rating over his last 4 starts. He's performing better. Now, am I saying is he a $20 million?
Do you think he's worth what we traded for? You think he's earned that yet?
The second round pick still irks me because I value draft picks.
I'm not even just saying false. I'm just the whole deal. Do you think he's earned what we've traded for him?
Not until I get a playoff win.
Okay.
Here's the reason I say that. No matter what happens, we traded Foles and we lost Macklin and we lost Shady and we lost this and we lost that. We lost Deshaun. We lost Mathis and Hermans and we lost all these guys, and then we gained all these guys back. But I look at progress. Chip has to make as he's here longer and longer. I want to see progression, not regression. So getting to the playoffs is great.
Well, his progression is going to start after this year. This is the first year he really had control.
Well, yeah. But I want to see, he's been to the playoffs. He's been to a playoff game in the NFL.
Sure.
Chip has. So the next step is to win a playoff game. So I want to get to the playoffs and win a playoff game. I'm all in on this. Because, of course, I want to see my team win football games. Of course, I want to see my team in the playoffs with an opportunity to win the prize.
Absolutely.
I don't, some people are like, and I've said it to an extent in the past out of anger, but I'm like, tank. But the more you look at it, it's like, if you have the opportunity to win a division, go win the division. Because, how often do Eagles management fuck up a draft pick?
Oh, never.
Exhibit
never
A,
happens.
Marcus Smith, Exhibit A.
It never happens.
Exhibit 1, Exhibit B, Danny Watkins. Then the list goes on and on. But, I want to see his team win. So, if they sneak into the playoffs, they draw a first-round matchup with, say, Minnesota or something like that.
Here's where I'm at with all this. Ready? Just to lay out where I see this whole thing. So, I did the same thing. I said tank, in anger, even up until this week. I'm still kind of... Like I just said, starting us off, I was on the fence about how to feel about all this and how it's going to, shake out in the end. So, as far as Bradford goes, I do not think that Bradford is our quarterback here that is going to take us to the promised land. I just don't. Call me an asshole, throw stats at me all day. I really don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's just my gut feeling on the guy. I don't think he's the worst thing that's ever happened to the fucking NFL football. I don't think he's going to be our guy. That being said, this is also the first year Chip's had complete control of the team. So I feel like, to me, he totally dismantled whatever was here and is now building his shit. And what I have been strong on saying is you have to let the man run his course. If the man says he has a plan that's going to take 5 years and it's not 5 years, you can't fully oust him yet. So I want to see where this goes. Hold on, let me finish. So I want to see where this goes. So if keeping Bradford here and we don't pay a lot for him, we're getting rid of him, whatever, as long as within the next 3 years, we're building up the rest of this team, getting wide receivers that we need. I don't know, maybe some defensive secondary help. Whatever little pieces that we need to fix or get better here. As long as he's improving everywhere else, I'm okay with Bradford sitting here for another 2 years. However, in 2 years, I think we're going to be needing a new quarterback, and that's what worries me. Because even if you shore up the rest of the offense and the rest of the defense, if Bradford turns out to be what I think he's going to be, which is just a backup quarterback somewhere, where does that leave us with another new quarterback to learn a new system? Which is why I've been iffy on going all in on celebrating every win and being super hyped, because it's like I see that right now where we're at in the future, these wins might cost us another couple of years. Do you see my logic?
Why?
What do you mean why? I just explained why.
Why would a couple wins cost us a couple years?
Because if the couple wins make Bradford look like he's better than what I think he is, or make people start believing that he's something that he's not. Again, I don't think he's terrible. I'm not ousting the guy. I said before we started recording, he looked great this week. He looked absolutely awesome this week. I don't think that he's starting quarterback caliber. He's not the guy that's going to take us to the Super Bowl.
Then who's the quarterback?
I don't have an answer to that. I'm not saying anybody has an answer to that right now. So I said I'm fine with giving him a 2-year deal. But what worries me is he looks good enough to get a 2-3 year deal.
Who's your quarterback in 2 years?
I don't know. Maybe we have Randall Jr. throwing the ball here.
Well, he's a wide receiver, isn't he?
He's throwing the ball. But either way, I don't have all the answers. I mean, if I had a crystal fucking ball, bro, we'd be rich.
I'm just...
I get it, but do you see what I'm saying?
But here's the deal, though. Like,
I don't want somebody to throw napkins on the problem and tell us we're not bleeding out anymore. I want someone to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, but see,
That's my thing.
You said that Chip has a plan and you needed to run his course. Okay.
Sure.
Well, Sam Bradford's in his plan. Okay, he traded value to get him on this team.
I understand.
So I think, and the Eagles will be in a predicament all
Let
season.
me tell you what, buddy. The premise of this podcast is questioning these motherfuckers, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, if you're going to go out and say get a guy like Kaepernick, you're going to have to pay to get him.
I don't think you pay that much.
Like, you're going to end up.
You think you're going to pay a fuck ton more than I don't know. I don't think San Fran's keeping him. I think they're done with him.
Yeah, but they're going to play the field though and try and get
they'll
what
see
they
what
can.
they get. They'll see what they get. Well, let me ask you this: if it's going to cost us to get Kaepernick, any other team trying to get Kaepernick is going to cost, right? So it's going to cost any team that wants Kaepernick, right?
Oh yeah.
So if Bradford's worth his fucking salt, he's freer and cheaper than Kaepernick. So that puts it easier for me to get Kaepernick here.
I just don't.
The
think
same
it's
team
as
that's
easy
looking
as it
at
makes it sound.
Kaepernick would look at Bradford if
because there could be a team. I'm shooting blanks right now, but we'll go St. Louis. Desperate for a quarterback.
Cleveland,
desperate for a quarterback, and Cleveland's been known to
can I
make crazy ass
something
deals.
out there?
They might go, we'll give you a first round pick for Kaepernick because Cleveland does that shit.
Let me ask you a question.
They're going to overpay.
Just a real quick.
Sure.
Do you see Manziel wearing green?
No.
No?
And here's the reason why. He was on the board during that draft, and Chip passed over.
Oh, I know.
So if Chip wanted him, Chip could have had him.
Okay.
Speaking of quarterbacks, you see who the New England Patriots are looking at
Who?
today?
No.
Timmy Tebow.
Nuh-uh.
That's serious.
No way. It makes sense.
They're busy today. They're looking at Patriots today. Signed Leonard Hankerson off waivers. They
Really?
signed a tight end off waivers. Yeah, Atlanta cut him. They put him on IR or something like that. So New England went out and picked him up. They're looking at Steven Jackson.
You know what they say? Your trash is New England's treasure.
Hey.
Ask the Eagles about Amendola.
Ian Rappaport put out. He's like, he named all these guys. He's like, these guys are so bad for these mediocre teams, but all of a sudden they're good enough for New England. But yeah, Timmy Tebow. They're looking at Steven Jackson. Been out of football for a year.
That's insane.
T.O. Leonard Hankerson. Yeah, T.O. might be next. Who knows? That's crazy. But
I made a comment when we first started doing this podcast, and it was something to the effect of, having a superstar quarterback and shitty wide receivers versus having grade A wide receivers and a shitty quarterback, and how the situation works and doesn't work. And that's exactly what's going on in New England. You have a superstar fucking quarterback, and it almost doesn't matter who you put out there, because he puts the fucking ball in the breadbasket when he's supposed to, where he's supposed to, and he can read a defense.
yeah.
So it doesn't really much matter that Danny Amendola was no good for Philadelphia, because look at him now.
But at least they catch the ball. And that's a problem.
Agreed.
And good segue, because I want to talk about how much our wide receivers suck. And
Come on with it.
And it's been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'm not saying that Bradford is the
So we don't give the wide receivers the same
end all of all quarterbacks. Like I'm not saying he's awesome and Pro Bowl.
He's good enough to get the ball there.
He's good enough to get the job done. But these guys got to catch the ball, man. Like
they don't get the same
let's
leeway
run
that
it down
Bradford
here.
gets.
Jordan Matthews is like non-existent.
Who?
Yeah, I know he's battling some injuries, but man, they gotta find a way to get him the ball. I don't care if you take him out on the side, you gotta put him on the outside, move him around the line of scrimmage, do something. You gotta get this kid the ball, man. He
can be a playmaker.
Yes,
very much.
Words out of my mouth. Like he has the makings to be a playmaker. You got to get him the ball in certain spots, man. Like Josh Huff just sucks, man. Like, and I don't know if Chip is doing charity work keeping him around, but he's just like not. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying I had like these high hopes when this guy came in, but this guy just he shows up for a play and then he goes away for 25. Like there's no consistency out of him. You know, Nelson Aguilar caught a touchdown. Good for him. His first touchdown.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
three catches for 60 yards or something like that.
63 or something like that.
Yeah, right around there.
And I know the kid's got to get his feet wet and everything like that. You know, usually it takes a rookie receiver. You know, by the time he enters his third year, he's entered his prime. But he's almost non-existent. Like, I thought this guy was going to be our speed guy. He's going to spread. You know, shoot. I'm not saying he's going to be Deshaun Jackson, but he was able to stretch. He's going to stretch the defense a little bit, open up the middle. He's just not around, man. He seems like invisible in this offense, and I don't see him.
A lot of these decisions that we've made and Chip's made.
I'm not saying it's a bad draft pick. I'm not even going anywhere near it.
I'm not going there. I'm going quite the opposite. If you look at the picks that Chip's made and the type players that he's picked to do what he needed them to do, and the fact that these guys just aren't performing, like you said, like Aguilar is the guy that he's supposed to stretch the field. He's supposed to move the defense a little bit. That makes the shotgun run work a little bit better. You know what I mean? If Bradford runs like he did this week and is actually a viable, he might run the fucking ball, and that middle linebacker's got to at least pause for that half more second or whatever. That also makes the shotgun run work a little better. It makes a lot of these plays that fizzle out and become 3 and outs start to develop now. So for the idiot fan, of course, it's fuck Chip Kelly, fire Chip Kelly, let's put his head on a pitchfork. For guys that can break a game down a little bit or at least understand and comprehend what's going on, there's a little more to it. It's, you know, it's not Chip's fault that he grabbed a shiny red apple and cut it open and there was a worm inside. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
However, what he does from this year on, for me, is where I judge hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because this, like I said, this is his third year here. This is his first year where he's controlled the team. This is his first year where his decisions are his decisions. It's not somebody else's team or somebody else calling the shots.
Yeah, he doesn't have a fall guy.
Nope, not at all. Just himself and Deuce Staley.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, it's his team now, and you know whatever happens from here on out is on him. Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm not joining the fire Chip Kelly hashtag.
But they is it now in Sam we trust?
Oh man, not me. I'm not French.
Yeah.
We shits for the birds.
We.
See what I did there?
But
be here all week, folks. Make sure to tip your bow rock.
Yeah. Tip kindly. Tip kindly. Let's I want to get into the running backs quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because we're beating a dead horse here. But you get the news Sunday morning that, you know, word on the street that DeMarco's been demoted to 4th on the depth chart. Now, usually the running back who's 4th on the depth chart, if you're carrying 4 running backs, is your special teams guy. Now, I think, you know, Sherman comes out the other day and he's like, "Oh, we're saving his legs. We have 3 very good running backs here," which they do. But, you know, first 10 weeks of the season, DeMarco's in the game for 45% of the plays.
With our record,
last 3 weeks, he's been on the field for I think he's peaked out at like 25% of the plays. Now, I get you want to get all 3 of these guys on the field, rightfully so, and I completely agree with it. You know, in the right spots. But you're paying this guy a ton of money. Let him get on the field and let him do what he can do.
Beyond what you're fucking paying him, beyond your wallet, here's the thing, dude. I just lost my train of thought.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, no, I just totally lost my train of thought. Wow. Totally.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
It flew away.
How do you say that you're going to save his legs? What the fuck are you saving him for? We're not in the
playoffs.
Yeah, like we're not in the position right now. We need to be fighting with.
We're not 13-0.
No, we're not. This isn't a fucking pull your starters out, boys. We can breeze this one the fuck in. Like who the fuck are you kidding with that? We're saving them. You know, don't lie to me.
Get under center.
Don't lie to me.
And hand the ball off and let them pound the rock.
You know?
I'm all about using all three running backs. Get Sproles needs to be involved. You know, he comes out the first drive. Sproles, touchdown. You know, and then it seems like you don't see Sproles for. You know, I mean, I know
it's almost like, that was productive yesterday.
Yeah, it was like, I guess he did the first drive, and then I think DeMarco did the second drive, and I don't know how it worked out, but like Sproles goes down, and it seemed like I didn't see Sproles for a quarter and a half, until he's targeted in the pass game. I completely agree with using all three running backs. You got to use them effectively, and I thought bringing this three-headed monster in, I thought Chip had a whole section of his playbook marked off for what he's going to do with these three guys, because the things you can do are endless. But he just hasn't shown it. It's very generic.
Someone's got to go over to his house and bring him a PlayStation 4 and trash a Nintendo and Tecmo Super Bowl. That's what's got to happen.
He already has Tecmo Super Bowl. He keeps doing the sweep.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get rid of Tecmo Super Bowl. But, Rock, I think it's up to me and you to bring in Madden 2016 and an Xbox for Christmas. Maybe that's on his wish list.
Maybe.
With all that shit that went on in Oregon, maybe Chip just wasn't a good boy and didn't get an upgraded system. He doesn't know the
Still in Sega world? Sega Genesis?
He didn't know the bevy of plays that were out there. I just bought a Sega Genesis.
Yeah?
$40.
It's the one that has all the games going into it?
No, that's the Atari that has all the games built into it.
No, there's a Sega one too.
Oh, then maybe it is, because this has definitely got like Mortal Kombat.
It was on Groupon.
Oh, no, I bought this at Rite Aid, dude, $40. Yeah. It was next to an Atari.
Yeah.
I was going to buy the Atari, and then I seen the Sega with Mortal Kombat 3, and I was like, yeah, that'll
nice. Work. I get the boy that, man.
You know what I mean? For $40,
yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, this running back situation, I just think, and I think, use Barner. I think Barner's been effective as well, but I don't know. That's why they pay Shermer the big bucks, I guess, and I guess they'll figure it out somehow.
You fucking
maybe hand Deuce the playbook. Deuce got to come up with something.
Deuce is the fall guy.
Yep.
That's the weekly, we're just going to blame some shit on you.
Takes the hits. So, speaking of running backs and former Eagle running backs, what you think about Shady Boy? His return to the link.
I think exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. He didn't do shit. He was ineffective, to say the least. There was no, oh my God, we're playing against Shady McCoy. He didn't matter. He was ineffective in the game. I'm not saying he fucking had no stats. I mean, he did okay with stats. You know what I mean? He had his touches and whatever. Oh, yeah. But it was ineffective. Did not affect the team one bit. I was there. He is such a piece of shit, though. As a person, I'm glad he's going, fuck the little, what you did before the game, and you visited the special needs boy, and, it was all, and he made his little comment that, it's a shame I'm not in green. Fuck you, dude. You smug motherfucker. Because he was throwing shots on the sidelines. Dude, there were hits in that game. There was I don't know if you guys seen it on TV because I was there. There was a blatant, he punched somebody in front of the ref as I'm looking at you.
It wasn't a punch, it was a shove.
Whatever the fuck. And nothing.
It was Fletcher Cox.
And it wasn't Cox?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what happened.
After Cox took his lunch?
Cox tackled him, and there was a little skirm on the ground. They get up, and McCoy just shoved him. And they asked Fletcher afterwards, and Fletcher was like, there weren't really any words exchanged. There was no conversation. He just got up and pushed me. 2 plays later, Fletcher Cox smothers him in the backfield.
Yeah, that's what Cox
and then he picked him right up by his shoulder pads and lifted him up.
That's 2 different plays. The one where he crushed him in the backfield,
I'm not talking about that one.
Oh, okay.
There's another one.
Oh, another time when Shady got crushed?
Yeah. He literally picked him up by his shoulder pads and then patted him on the back. It was funny watching that progress through the game. I was just watching Fletcher. Speaking of Fletcher though, real quick.
Yeah, please. I'm glad you're going here.
Dude, this dude is a monster.
Dude, they're comparing.
You hear Flexi Rexy after the game?
You just took the words out of my mouth. The comparisons.
Flexi Rexy. He's
we prepared for him, but we weren't prepared for him.
Yeah, he was before seeing him up close in person, he's like, they're throwing all these comparisons. He's comparing to Jerome Brown, and he's like, and I'm like, no way. And then post game, he's like, those things I said, well, I take that back because, damn, he's pretty good, and he's got the comparison to JB99. So you gonna lock somebody up for the long term? They better pay that man his money. Because he is a playmaker, man. All over the field, 7 tackles Sunday at a sack. You know, he makes that front go. Like, if he's not in the game, they'll crumble. Yeah. Hey, it's Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham's like, Fletcher Cox opens everything for me. He's like, he takes these defenders on, leaves me a gap to get to the quarterback on a blitz. You know, he freaking took Richie Incognito to school, man. All over him,
dude. Took his lunch.
They didn't know how to stop him, so they start holding him. And he got flagged for a number of calls, and I'm pretty sure there was a couple calls that didn't get called. You know, as there always are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Fletcher Cox, man, he's definitely an All-Pro this year. So, yeah, this defense, you know, going into this week, Arizona is going to be a hefty.
It's one of the best producing offenses in the NFL right now, right?
Yeah, they're on fire, and they got playmakers at all phases of that offense. From the offensive line, they got I'm going to screw his name up, but the dude from San Francisco they signed the offseason, Mike Lupati, whatever.
We know you mean.
Yeah, there's a guy. He's the guy who got smothered on Sunday Night Football. They were afraid he got involved or whatever with a hit or whatever, and he took him out on the ambulance on the field. And they were worried he was like paralyzed or whatever, but everything turned out fine. But yeah, they got a tall order. I mean, Sunday Night Football, Arizona's is playing for something. They're playing for a division title, and the Eagles are playing for their life. Honestly, like, the Eagles could lose this game and still win out and win the division. They control their destiny to an extent, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I mean, you got Fitzgerald you got to worry about. They're probably going to line Jenkins up in the slot on Fitzgerald. Huh?
I dropped him.
Who, Fitz?
This week.
Why?
Picked up Hearns.
Allen Hearns chasing points.
Yeah. There's a 60-point deficit from second place to ninth in my league right now. The fucking race is tight.
Nice.
So I don't think Fitz has got it in him. Yeah. My other wide receiver is Martavis. So.
I think Fitz will have his hands full this week with Malcolm Jenkins. I mean, the advantage with Jenkins. Now they move him to slot, like nickel corner, put him in the slot. He's got that experience. He used to play corner, you know. Mm-hmm. He's lined up there for years, you know, lined up at the corner spot. So I mean, they actually have an advantage in that scenario. They put Ed Reynolds at safety, who is nominated for Clutch Performer of the Week.
What?
Ed Reynolds on that interception at the end of the game. Are you still there for that?
Yeah. I started walking out.
How do you get Clutch Performer? Like, if he drops that ball, he's an idiot. But he catches the ball. There's no one around him. Like, Clutch Performer of the Week
for doing your job.
He had to have the whole sideline jumping up and down for him to go on the ground. The Chip Kelly was right there. He's like, go down. There's good pictures out there on the web on that one.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was great. I'll have to pull them up. But yeah, they're going to have to do whatever they can to stop Fitz, because Fitz has been an Eagle killer, man. Dude, 7. I'm going to give you a stat right now. He's played us 7 times, including playoffs. All right. He has 47 catches for 802 yards, 11 touchdowns in 7 games. That includes the 3 he had against us in the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. No, wait. He scored a touchdown in every game he's played us. So, obviously, that's a guy you gotta shut down. You know what I'm worried about is our other two corners. You got Maxwell dealing with an ankle issue, Eric Rose dealing with an ankle issue. Both are expected to play, but are they going to be 100%? Is Rowe going to keep up with John Brown?
You're going to have hurt ankles when you're trying to cover Fitz anyway.
Mr. Brown, Mr. Speed Racer going down the field. So I mean that's going to be a challenge. And you got Michael Floyd on the other side against. I like to play 10 yards off the ball, Maxwell. So it's I think it's going to be a challenge, and this offense is going to have to really show up Sunday night if they want to stay in this game.
Let me go back a couple of topics here. This has been on my mind since the DeMarco thing.
Spit it.
Just a quick question.
We're all over the place tonight. Let it roll.
Yeah, what the fuck? Well, just a quick question, and then I want to move on to our Screaming Eagle and shit.
Yeah.
Do you hold him accountable for his performance this year, being as Chip took him and is not using him for his strengths to his game? And furthermore, if you look at and do a DeMarco Murray Shady McCoy comparison, he really has DeMarco trying to get him to do what Shady does.
And the reason said for getting rid of Shady is that he dances too much.
Right, but what do you want?
I
what kind of, well, I mean, am I wrong in what I'm saying though? So do you hold DeMarco Murray accountable for this season? Do you give him the season to adjust to a completely different running style? Because he's a up the gut, give me a little bit of a hole and I'm going to blast through it, fall forward running back.
I just don't understand why play calls are, and I'm not saying every time, but it just seems like more often, it seems like the Darren Sproles has more 23 dives or 46 dives up the gut. Your smallest running back on the roster has more runs up the gut than your biggest running back.
Than the guy that's supposed to be up the gut.
The guy who is your downhill runner who has to have his shoulders, in front of him.
Like, do you think Chip goes, all right, we're gonna run.
We're gonna catch
shotgun run, DeMarco to the right. They're never gonna see this coming. They're gonna think DeMarco's gonna run straight up. We'll get him this time.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's what goes through his mind?
I don't know. This offense pisses me off. Like you hear me week in and week out. I hate I hate constantly in the shotgun. I hate it. It drives me insane. Because every single play, you're in the damn shotgun. You barely do the read option. It's one thing if you're trying to execute the read option. I completely get it. But every time you do that little fake to the running back, little play action, little dipsy-doo, dunkaroo thing, and...
The dipsy-doo dunkaroo, I like that.
Yeah, whatever. It just popped in my head. That was a little Dickie V for you. My tail action in Wrong Sport, but I'm tired. Give me a break here, all right?
You got 4 kids, baby. Get all the break you want. Kit Kat's on me, Dad.
But there's no read option there. Like, if I'm a defense scouting this team, I know 9 times out of 10 they're not doing a read option here. And they did a little more this week with Bradford. He actually got a couple runs. But that also makes me scared. Like, I'm holding my breath. When he's trying to run for a couple yards.
All the air got sucked out of the stadium when he took off. Everyone's like,
But I hate this offense. I hate the offensive scheme.
Question still stands, though, Borak. I just want an answer to that question.
Oh, yeah, the answer. Oh, yeah.
Do you hold them accountable? Is it DeMarco Murray's fault?
No.
Okay, that's all I wanted to hear.
And the reason why is, he's not running to his strengths. You know?
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, I know.
Part of it, part of the issue is the offensive line. Okay. You know, you have your interior offensive linemen suck.
Which I don't think,
Kelsey's having a down year. Your two guards are pathetic. And you have two. You need somebody to block.
I'm not saying that. That's you obviously need somebody to block. What I'm saying is, if they're using him the way that and running him the way that he should be running him the way that he can run, then yeah, your line sucks. But I think his numbers still improve.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
don't think we're talking as much about how bad the line is.
Well, that obviously has something to do with it.
Again, yeah, but
and I would much rather Sproles run that little sweep, that little shotgun sweep, because one, he'll get out there quicker.
He gets to the edge quicker.
Gets to the edge, and he can sneak through those little holes. He's like a little freaking Minnie Mouse, Mighty Mouse. He can just the one on the punt return at the Patriots game. Someone did a video of the return to Super Mario,
the star power.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's funny.
But
speaking of star power, Screaming Eagle. I opened up a can of worms with the marker question. I'm shutting it down. Screaming Eagle. I got mine.
You go first.
Fletcher Cox.
I knew you were going to go there. That's why he was going to be the guy selected. But
it's the easy, obvious choice.
All right, I am going to go with. Drum roll, please. I'm going to give it to my boy, Nelson Aguilar, because he got his first career touchdown. There you go. It may be the only time he has an opportunity to get on the Screaming Eagle Wall of Fame.
Okay.
So it may be the only time in his career. You never know. He may turn in to be a superstar, but he might not. So I'm going to give him the honor this week for his first touchdown catch. I'm giving it to him for the touchdown catch, not the touchdown dance, because it was awful.
It was a terrible dance.
It was awful. Even Shermer bashed him.
So, who's on the wire, man?
Bird on the wire. Man, who do I go with here?
I got one for you. It's not that huge. Kiko Alonso. This is my bird on the wire.
He doesn't seem right.
Nope.
Doesn't seem right whatsoever.
I was super excited to see him play, dude, and now he's just fucking there.
And
he's a number on a jersey.
And that was one of those boomer bust things. I'm like, and I've said previously, I was excited to get him.
So was I.
But I just don't think he has the speed anymore.
Yeah, running out there's a little crop top jersey on. I'm tired of him.
He don't look like a linebacker.
He's not making plays.
He looks like a damn running back, dude.
Dude, he's not making plays the way he should. He's not.
I don't know if he's lost weight, but
I hope nothing's really, really wrong with him. But he's not the same player that.
I think that the injuries are catching up to him, and it's a good selection for the bird on the wire, hanging out the dry.
Where are you at, man? Where's your bird?
There's
room on the Alonso bus.
Yeah, I'm not going Alonso. I'm going to go with a guy.
I got a guy
who was in the game for 4 plays, 2 penalties, and he's god awful. I'm going with number 67 because that's all I know him as, because the ref kept calling his number 67, but his name is Dennis Kelly. And I'm sick of the offensive line. I'm sick of stupid freaking penalties. These guys, and I'm talking. I'm on a tangent, but I don't care.
Very much so.
Dennis Kelly, he came in the game for Peters. Something happened, or he came for somebody. Yeah. 2 out of 4 plays, he had a holding penalty. Are you kidding me?
It was early in the game too.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? And Jason Peters, man, he got away with one where they called it encroachment.
What's funny is when he what's his name went out and Kelly went in. It was right after a big play that he made, and we're all like, "Wait, he's not in there!" They hiked the fucking ball, and sure enough, that was a fucking penalty. And it wasn't just a dumb fucking penalty either. It put us in a not good spot. I think it put us for a fucking a turnover, not turnover, change it down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just you can't come in a game like that and just commit penalties like that. There's no room for it, and especially when you're getting this stage of the season where every snap counts and every play matters.
Yeah,
you need to have guys.
You need to have everybody on their A game
that can perform, and it happened in a Packers game too. Guy came in for the offensive lineman. First play he was in, like a false start or a hold or something like that. But I mean, nonetheless, you're getting paid to do a job. You need to be ready at all times. And what happened on the first hold? You just slow as fuck, and dude blew right by him. So you freaking held him. It's just what happened. But yeah, Dennis Kelly, burn the wire. Because I'll probably never say his name ever again in this podcast. So just throw it up there. There
you go, Dennis.
Hang him out to dry.
Two guys who are never going to be where they're at right now. Never been so high, never been so low. That's what we get from Bo Rock this week.
Yep, that's where I'm going.
All right, brother. Well, let's take us into the fantasy.
All right, well, that wraps up our Bird on the Wire Screaming Eagle segment for this evening. Now we're going to jump into fantasy football. And we're going to talk a little bit about daily fantasy and bring on our weekly guest, Mr. Rick Dubs. What up?
What's up going on, guys? How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm just fine. Can't wait for this weekend. NFL football.
NFL football. The greatest thing since sliced bread, baby.
Kind of like the Giants.
Oh, God. All right, what do you got? Daily fantasy. I'm not even getting into this shit.
All right, what are we going to talk about? We talk about how I won that league last week?
Yeah, was that your first time?
That was my second.
Oh, man, you're catching up.
Yeah.
I'm beating the guru. See that? I'm beating the guru.
The guru won last week.
It's about time.
So that puts you 2 for 12?
He stopped sending me invites.
No wonder he thinks the Giants are going to the Super Bowl.
He stopped sending me daily fantasy invites because I kept beating him.
So who we got for quarterback?
Just send you one for the one this weekend, you dummy.
It's so easy to get you fired up.
Dummy.
Speaking of fired up, who's firing up for this weekend? What do you got, Dubs?
I got Matthew Stafford at quarterback, first of all, which I don't know why I did that because I took Jameis last week against New Orleans, and that did me nothing.
Is New Orleans playing at home?
Yep.
Mr. Breeze does very well at home. Look at his home-away splits.
I'd rather go Stafford against New Orleans.
No, I'm just saying. It's going to be a high-scoring game. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that. I remember the Giants game, remember? Remember that?
Yeah, do you remember that? What was that final?
Yeah, I remember clearly.
Another one that slipped out of Eli's fingers.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns.
Slipped lost.
Slipped through JPP's fingers. See what I did there? Come on, quarterbacks, give me the rundown. You girls can argue later.
I got Stafford. I already said that. Or Cam Newton is either going to be a boom or a bust this week. I'm hoping it's a bust.
He's a boomer. He's a boomer.
Yeah,
I don't know. He doesn't have his running game. Greg Olsen is the only.
What's he worth? Give me numbers here. You're falling apart on me, Dubs.
Cam Newton's $7,000. That's $7,800. He's the same as Tom Brady this week.
And what's Stafford worth?
Stafford 61.
Cam Newton seems to be in good company.
Yeah, but he's too high priced.
I agree. I agree.
I mean,
and he's probably going to be.
Like I said, he doesn't have many wide receiver threats. Greg Olsen's banged up, if I remember correctly.
Gibbs a monster.
And still,
I think Olsen's on track to play. From what I last read, everything checked out fine.
But he isn't 100%. It doesn't seem to be that way.
I have a curious question for you.
I think I would stay away from Cam because especially in like tournaments because I think he's going to be a very popular pick this week.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to gamble on him.
And he's expensive.
I think Palmer and Brady are going to be popular plays this week. They're the two
that
I think
too.
will be most popular.
I just don't like to spend a lot of quarterback.
No, me neither. That's why I usually I took Jameis Winston last week. I've taken Fitzpatrick.
All right, let's talk running backs.
Running backs. One of them is Matt Forte. Minnesota has a pretty decent run defense, but they let up a ton of yards in the passing game for running backs.
What's that price? What's that? Oh, what it cost me?
It's the lowest you'll ever see him. He's down to 6,500. He's lower than Doug Martin this week.
I just can't. I can't hop on that train.
Nah, me neither. I take Doug Martin.
The only reason, of course, now he splits time with Langford. That's the only reason. So I do have a backup plan there. I'm not fully 100% going with Matt Forte, but he's the first one I mentioned. Second one is David Johnson for 57.
Yeah,
obviously.
Dem Birds.
Yeah.
Who got the 13 rushing touchdowns and 8 touchdowns receiving to running backs. He should have a huge day.
Speaking of birds, who you like catching?
This one, I like a couple high place guys. I actually have the best contest I have. I'm looking at right now. I have Stafford, David Johnson, Gio Bernard, and then I have DeAndre and Odell. Which Odell I might change because Carolina has let up some pretty good games to wide receivers. Surprisingly,
I'll give you a little tidbit on Carolina and Odell situation. Everyone seems to be steering away from Odell this week because they think he's going to be lined up against Norman.
Nope.
But if you look at it, Odell, you should know this, Odell lines up in the slot a lot, and Norman doesn't line up in the slot. I mean, look at last week. Norman was on Julio for 4 out of 6 targets. And I think the 2 targets that Julio got that one long run. I mean, you look at the splits. When he faced DeAndre Hopkins, like he's not getting a lot of balls thrown Norman's way, but coaches are catching on, putting that guy in the slot because Norman doesn't line up in the slot. So I think a lot of people steer away from Odell, and I might actually play him just for that reason.
That's where Cooks and Cobbs did very well against him.
Who?
Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
Nice game. You read my mind on that one.
See that? Stuff. Yep.
My cheap wide receiver is Mohamed Sanu. He's 3,200, so I think McCarron's going to be throwing a lot of shallow screens and some stuff from the slot. That's why I have Sanu.
How much is you wouldn't play like a Marvin Jones in that scenario?
No, because he's even more. I don't even have him targeted.
Yeah, I don't know how much. He's probably in like the 45 to 5 range, I think, right? I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to be at least 46, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm touching a Bengal from here on out.
Floyd's the other one.
Yeah.
Floyd's another cheaper option.
Because I'll tell you what, I think...
If you're going to go with a Palmer stack, it's probably better to go with Floyd instead of Fitzgerald anyway.
Yeah, because Fitzgerald lines up in the slot, and the Eagles are going to be putting. They've been playing Malcolm Jenkins in the slot the last couple of weeks, so he slotted the lineup against Fitzgerald for most of the day. So I mean, and Maxwell and Eric Rowe are both battling ankle injuries, so they're not going to be 100%. So if I was going to do a stack with Arizona, I would do like a Palmer Brown or Palmer Floyd.
Yeah, I definitely have Floyd in all mine.
And he's been on fire. I think the last 4 weeks, 3 out of the last 4 weeks, he's put up 100 plus and a touch.
And Palmer likes him in the red zone, which I think will be a lot.
Yeah,
he'll be there a lot. So between him and Johnson, I'd go. But if you're going to go Palmer, I'd go him and David, Floyd and Johnson on all of them.
I can't do it this week. I got my fandom in the way.
I'm expecting them to get up big. So there goes in the David Johnson part. He's going to be used heavy in the second half, I believe. I've been wrong before, though, so let's see.
You might be wrong again.
Might be. It happens to the best of us.
God, I hate that saying.
What do you got? Who's your big tight end this week?
Julius Thomas.
He was big last week, too.
Yep. Going against Atlanta. They're pretty crappy tight end against tight ends. Ben Watson's another good one. They're both cheap. 47 for Thomas and 48 for Watson. Another real sneaky one is there's two of them. Safarian Jenkins and Eric Ebron. New Orleans is the worst. They're even worse than the Giants, I believe.
They're worse than the Little Giants.
Second behind, either their first or second worst against the tight end. 82 yards a game and 10 touchdowns. So
That's
Eric
it.
Ebron is 3,000. So if you want a cheap tight end and you want to risk it, I've taken him twice and regret it both times. So
Yeah, he was supposed to be one of my breakout
That was your
players this
boy.
year, yeah. He was slated to look real good, man. He didn't make it.
You know what the problem is?
Yeah.
Everyone from Detroit sucks.
Yeah.
Detroit Duck City.
It's a shame, but it's the truth. I speak the truth.
So
And what up?
Pick a guy's brains for a second. Go ahead. What's that?
Do you have a sleeper defense?
Got 20 on the clock.
Sleeper defense. My defenses I've been using are Cincinnati and Seattle.
Well, yeah, I'm all in on both of those.
Cincinnati against San Francisco. And
Seattle versus
against
Cleveland. Yeah. All right.
All right, Dubs.
What you
What
got?
do you guys have happening on Sunday
We're
What's
gonna
that?
play some football.
at the bank? What's going on at the bank?
We're going to root
Philly-
for Carolina.
The Phillies are off.
Lincoln Financial is a
There
bank.
you go. There you go.
Isn't that a bank?
No, it's Lincoln Financial Field,
Well, what,
and the stadium across the street's Citizens Bank Park.
what is Lincoln Financial? What is the damn company, dude? You
It's a
understand what I'm
financial
saying?
firm.
Financial. Okay.
Don't be mad because your play on words blew up in your
That was a terrible
face.
nickname. Let's just move on. All right.
Oh, like MetLife is any better.
Yeah, I got an awesome nickname. You ready for it? You ready for my nickname?
This ought to be good.
It's
You're awful, dude.
yeah, had to end that bullshit with a fucking Giants fan quite abruptly. But you know that's becoming the weekly theme here is hanging up on Dubs.
As John Taffer says, shut it down, baby. Shut
That's
it down.
I'm sure he's going to be texting Bo Rock in a minute or two, crying about, "You hang up and so stupid."
There it is.
He won't. Yeah, see, he won't even text me back. That's what kind of Giants fans. That's what kind of guys Giants fans are.
Oh boy.
Just kidding, Dubs. You know I love you, brother. That's my man. But yeah, let's do fantasy real quick, and we'll keep this one short and sweet.
Yeah, we're gonna run through start sits. It's playoff time, baby.
I'll tell you what. I'm not even going to spit anything off. I just want to hear what you got, and
All right.
I'll agree or disagree.
All right,
So
I'm
keep
gonna
it simple.
I'm gonna go. We'll go position by position. Start then sit.
So-
I'm gonna give you 2 players per position.
Okay.
All right.
Quarterback
Quarterback. I gotta go with Cam Newton. He's just
as a starter or sit him.
as a start. These are starters.
Okay.
Cam Newton is just too much on fire to sit.
Is it the shoes?
And he's playing the Giants this week.
Yeah. The who?
The G-Men.
Yeah.
And my other guy, this guy's just been on fire, and I don't see it letting up this week just because of the team he's playing, Russell Wilson. That team is so weird. They used to be so well known for their defense, and their defense is still very, very good. But now, Wilson's just chucking the rock. They're making Doug Baldwin look like a superstar.
Yeah. You know what? I wanted to pick Doug Baldwin up early in the year, and I didn't. I didn't touch him. And I told my
Too
stepdad who just
inconsistent.
right. My stepdad
Yeah.
just picked him up, and I was like, "You just fucking grabbed the dead fish." And what does he do this week? Fucking goes off. Jesus. Unreliable. I think he was good for this week. I would throw him back into the ocean though now. Personally, I don't know. If Doug
Well,
Baldwin
I mean,
would
if it was in the middle of the season when this is happening, I'd have him traded by now.
yeah. Yeah.
He'll be gone. He'll be gone.
Buy low, sell high,
Yeah,
baby.
Sell high.
All right, who we got for a wide receiver?
I'm going to sit. I got to sit quarterback.
Oh, shit,
Sit.
I'm sorry. I was going to go through the starters first. Go ahead.
I'm sitting
Don't do it to me. You're going to sit who I'm starting. I already know it.
Eli Manning.
Start him.
You're sitting him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Carolina, bro.
I hear you.
And he's a Giant.
I hear you. Okay, but we're talking about fantasy.
Who's your options?
That's it. Eli or the waiver.
Oh, shit. Well, who's on the
I was
waiver?
going to pick up Mariota and run Mariota.
Go get Nick Foles?
Oh, I could. But he's riding the pine. I almost picked up Osweiler.
Real quick on Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So there's a picture on Twitter. It was a hallway outside the St. Louis Rams locker room.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big-ass Nick Foles poster folded up in the dumpster. That trade worked out well.
Yeah.
My other sit-em quarterback is Ryan Tannehill. I can't do it anymore. I was having this conversation with Dubs, and he's relied on a couple weeks in DraftKings and stuff. Dude, you watch him Monday night. He is awful. He's got a hot-ass wife, but he is an awful
You can't be good at everything. You can't. Apparently, he's throwing the D. He just can't throw the football.
Can't throw shit,
Can't
bro.
throw the F.
Yeah, it's awful. He had Landry down the middle of the field Monday night, and he was like on the run. I mean, running out of the pocket. Wait to just lay that baby out. He overthrew him by 10 yards. It's like, come on, dude. And it was a couple plays like that.
And the shame of that is Landry's on the waivers in my one league, and I wouldn't touch him because of who's throwing to him.
I said the same thing when I was talking with Dubs. He was like, he was about leading into DraftKings this past week. He's like, oh, I'm definitely starting Beckham and Beckham and Landry Monday night because they're boys or whatever, like that. He's like, they'll be playing off each other. I'm like, dude, I can't touch Landry, bro. I said, and it's not because of Landry. I just can't touch him because I can't rely on Tannehill.
Yeah,
can't do it.
Can't rely on the.
I traded Landry mid-season in a deal that involved Mike Evans, but that didn't work out. Mike Evans,
short end of the stick on that one.
Well,
let's move on.
Running back. I am starting. The first guy I'm starting here, I have to start because I have to. It's the matchup is too good. I just hate him. I hate the team and the offense he's in. Lamar Miller. He from Miami. He's playing San Diego this week. One of the worst rush defenses in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you play it's like the New Orleans pass defense. You play New Orleans, you start your quarterback. You play San Diego, or your running back's playing San Diego, you start your running back. The other guy I'm going with, and I'm going out on a limb here because of what I saw last week. Here we go. And he's playing the Oakland Raiders. I'm going with Eddie Lacy.
I still have no faith in him.
I think he's back, man.
Even against Chokeland.
I think he's back. Well, Chokeland didn't choke last week.
I know.
Yeah, so those are my two guys that started running back. Two guys I'm sitting. First guy is Darren McFadden, going up against the Jets. Can't get nowhere and through that front. That front's sick. And the other guy is Javarius Allen from the Baltimore Ravens. Going up against Kansas City. Tough rush defense. I think they're 5th against the run. So those are two guys I would sit.
I want to throw a running back stardom out there for you.
Go for it.
Mr. Martin from Tampa Bay. I saw him starting this week. Going up against St. Louis on the road. That's
Decent matchup.
That's all. That's a solid matchup. Kid's going to put up points.
Dougie Doug, he put up like 400 yards on the Eagles.
Yeah, Dougie Fresh is a monster. He's a monster.
Dougie Fresh.
All right, keep it moving. Tight end?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver? Yeah, okay.
First guy, Julio.
Start him? Yeah.
Against Jacksonville, damn Skippy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, start Julio this week, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not starting him next week. Against Carolina? No. Not starting him. I don't care. If I have him. I'm in the championship next week. I'm not starting him. I don't care. It's not a good matchup. Other guy I got is Sammy Watkins against the Deadskins.
Yeah. I still disagree with your Julio, man. You know, Matty on the road. Matty Ice's third game. Game's a Jacksonville. I got no faith in Matty Ice. It's the Landry situation for me. I mean, Julio's Julio. So as long as Matty Ice gets it somewhere in the fucking vicinity, Julio gonna do what Julio does. But
I need Julio to come through this week, so stop jinxing that shit. All right.
Starting to see how this man does his startups and sit-ups. I think this is the Bo Rocks lineup.
No,
all right, keep going.
Well, actually, I have McFadden. He's in my sit-em. And I got Mike Evans. He's in my sit-em. That's my first sit-em for wide receiver. Mike Evans. He's dead to me. Gone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Dead! I'm one of them. Dead!
My other sit-em at wide receiver is Dez Bryant. Man, I can't rely. It's not Dez. It's not Dez.
It's a little bit Dez.
It's Matt Castle.
It's a lot of Matt Castle. It's a little bit of Dez.
Yeah, I think Dez is fed up.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Tight end. I'm just giving you a 1 for tight end because
take it.
That's what I'm doing.
I'll take it.
I will start Jordan Reed just quite simply because he's been a beast, and you saw what Zach Ertz did last week against Buffalo. And I am sitting Travis Kelce.
Okay.
One, he hasn't got over, I think, like 6 or 7 points in the last 4 weeks. Hasn't seen the end zone. Baltimore actually plays the tight end pretty well. Plays against the tight end pretty well. So, that's where I'm going. So
what do you think about Macklin this week?
I love Macklin this week because he's been a monster the last couple weeks.
He's been doing all right.
Yeah, he's turned into A. Smith's go-to guy.
Yeah,
which is probably contributing to Kelsey's lack of targets or lack of catches.
He didn't really do too much last week.
Who, Kelsey?
No, Macklin against San Diego.
Look at the week prior.
No, 2 weeks prior. He was fucking on fire.
Yeah.
Buffalo and Oakland, he was on fire.
Yeah.
He was on fire. All right, so, well, that's that, buddy.
Yeah, that's fancy.
Real quick,
Yeah.
before we,
Go ahead.
No, I was going to end fantasy.
Well, no, I was just going to wish everyone good luck in their fantasy football playoffs.
Fuck everyone is.
If you're in the playoffs.
Fuck everyone is.
I'm in a few.
I'm out of the playoffs in 1, and I'm still in 2.
Yeah, I lost one last week, but I still got a couple alive.
We were 4th in the power rankings, but we didn't have the record or the points for to get us where we needed to be. So it is what it is.
Shit happens.
Hey, dude, it's our first year in the league. New rules.
Yeah.
This is the fucking league who stops trades and dropping ads the same fucking day, and we get hurt. We had a broken arm situation, and then 2 other. We went with no running back and no receiver for fucking like a week and a half, and we were still 4th place in the power rankings.
We need to hit a board, bro.
Lesson learned, dude. Lesson learned.
Adios.
Yeah, that league's fucking. I don't think I'm getting in it next year.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man.
But anyway, let's talk about the fucking back in black, baby.
Black on black, baby.
It's a blackout.
When the Eagles wear black, the Eagles win.
So how do they do jersey selection? How do they decide what jerseys are wearing and when?
Home team can pick.
Home team can pick. So you think we're just pulling every fucking ace out of our sleeve?
Yeah.
Like every ace except for
And they're going black end zone, too.
Do you think they're going to pull out DeMarco's legs for this game? Or they're still going to save them? That for next week?
They're getting saved.
Yeah.
They're getting saved for the playoffs, man. They're optimistic.
I like it, dude. I like it.
I don't know, man. Yo, and one more thing. When have you seen this fire out of the boss, the chairman, the head honcho?
The guy who typically doesn't fucking exist.
Doesn't say a word. You never see him. He's always like behind the scenes. He's in his little suite by his fireplace and his pool table, all that nonsense.
Up at Martha's Vineyard, hang out.
Yeah, on his yacht. Jeffrey Lurie, man. Last couple weeks, we'll start with New England. Gets in the locker room, yelling at these guys, firing them up, getting a little anger in them. Guys go out and win. This past week, he gets them all T-shirts. These guys, the Eagles are now known as the 53 Angry Men. You see their shirts?
No.
Before the game, he put shirts in all their lockers. It's a black shirt and it says 53 Angry Men on it.
Whatever you got to do
And
to get everybody
he was
riled up, right?
in the press box or in the suite or whatever. They showed him after the interception down by the end zone.
Right.
With the went out Salk's hands and thought the ball hit the ground and everything like that. They showed Lurie jumped up out of his seat, showing all this emotion. So I want to know, what does he have in store for this week?
You never know. Maybe it's
I'm loving it.
when you get out of a relationship and you get into a new relationship and you're all boo loving, maybe him and Chip Kelly rekindled.
I don't know. But you know what? I don't know what it is. I love an active owner. Like when the Sixers
100%.
when the Sixers had Pat Croce, I loved it. Because Pat Croce, like one guy I really love is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban's, sometimes
Involved.
he gets a little loopy, but he's at the games, he's vocal, he's energetic, he's like a fan.
Yeah.
He's into the game, he's there, right in the thick of it with the fans. I love it. So, I don't care what you're doing, Lori. Well, I don't know what pill you're taking, what you're smoking, whatever.
Viagra, Ativan, and marijuana. Philly is about to pass that shit. It's coming.
So, whatever you're doing, Lori, keep it up because the Eagles are winning, baby.
All right, baby. So, that about wraps this up now.
Yeah, what do you got for Sunday? Who you got?
Who do I got? Everybody got.
You got the Birds?
Come on, man.
Birds over the Birds?
I'm riding it out. This might be our first, probably our first win in how many games versus Arizona?
I don't know, but if I'm thinking back correctly, the last time the Eagles played Arizona in primetime
Did they fucking kill us for a playoff?
was in 2008.
Yep.
On Thanksgiving night, I was at that game. The Eagles win 49-28. So, hopefully, that is what happens on Sunday night. So, tune in, NBC. You gotta listen to Collinsworth and other jackass. So, turn that down, turn Merle up. If you're at the game, have fun. And let's get a win.
Go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.
She